What's up, turds, nerds, freaks, and geeks, and all that's in between? It's me, your girl, Daisy Dame. Welcome to, or welcome back to, my channel. I'm genuinely blessed to have you here. It's back to school time, and well, for a lot of us, that means, making sure that we have all the things in order, making sure we have all supplies. For others, it means mourning lives of their loved ones. And that's why I feel it's important for us to discuss the rise of the child radical, the order of the nine angles, or the onane, a demonic Satanist cult. And you guys know I just have those strange interests. So if you do too, I'm sure you're going to want to hear this one. I am someone who's never believed in the lone wolf lie. The cry of the lone wolves are too loud, and it's starting to sound like a pack, and we're being circled. The worst part is that the supposed lone wolves keep warning us online through different social media platforms, even giving dates at times. And the strangest thing is, no matter where you land politically, it doesn't matter. This affects all of us here in America, especially. We are so tired of fearing every time our child gets on the bus or every time we see them walk away with that backpack for the next X amount of hours. It is truly painful at this point and scary. And some might think that I'm just being dramatic, but before you even allow yourself to think that, please do understand that I've received 2 text messages now on 2 different occasions that some type of event might be taking place at that very place. And the first time I just froze, and I thought, I need to be ninja, and I need to go save the king. What else can I do? As per usual, I will say to you, left wing, right wing, same dang bird. So I believe that both sides have their demented and sick agendas that they will play no matter what, whether some good is being done or some good is being undone. I think that genuinely both sides have an element of demented terror to them. No matter what side is chosen, there is no good side, unfortunately. There is no better side. It's a struggle. I will say that. And maybe the modern day, what some may call a flag that is false, maybe that's the new MK Ultra of our time. Genuinely think about it. Do you think if they did start MK Ultra, why would they stop it? Why wouldn't they just continue to test on the public who's so willing to give up their information? In fact, they invite it into their lives and allow it willingly. And I bring this up because I think it's important to recognize, again, these lone wolves are no lone wolf. They are a pack, and they are circling, and it's time to pay attention, especially if you have a child in school right now, especially if a loved one is a teacher. I mean, who knew? Who knew that being an influencer or a teacher or just a student would end up being the most risky thing? It's mind-boggling, truly. Is it because we have lost the formula to life? That there's more chaos or disorder? I'm not sure. But one thing we can show for sure through our media and through movies and throughout our life experience is that our youth is struggling. And that has become more clear. When you feel helpless and you feel as though you have nothing left to lose, you will end up reacting in violence or acting out or behaving in strange ways. The way that a lot of these supposed events have gone down, the way that each has a manifesto and memes on their boomsticks, if you will, it's as if they themselves don't believe that there is good or bad. There's just chaos. And at this point, who can even blame them to feel helpless or scared or unsure? Or it doesn't mean you have to forgive them or even try to conceive what they're thinking. It's just, who isn't? After things that happened in the last 5 years, it was a genuinely traumatizing worldwide for all, I'm sure. There have been more things brought to the light, like the Cult of Odin, popularized by true crime tubers and media. The girls who symbolically were just trying to cross a bridge. 2 young girls just trying to cross a bridge and have a walk. That is very symbolic to certain communities. Whether you believe it or not, they do. And the bridge is symbolic. It is esoteric. It is crossing over. Satanism and esoteric. These are the dark side of spiritualism, They use followers to create the chaos, to create what they believe is spiritual evolution in their own right. One thing I've always said is that technology needs to move forward with spirituality in mind. If we don't, that is a grave error. For if we don't, If not, then we are truly willingly summoning the demon or the beast, but doing so blindly. What gives another human that feeling that they have that ability to endgame another life? It's beyond me. Only those whom are truly demented, only those more heinous, or better yet, just truly demons. And the more heinous and the more chaotic and the more uncomfortable, the better it is for these type of people. And I've seen it. I see it in people. They have this word for it called Schadenfreude. In fact, the king, he loves this word because sometimes he feels this, and it is enjoyment when others experience pain or discomfort. And it's not good, but the fact that he even understands it in himself and knows that it's wrong to feel it, but chuckles because he does feel it sometimes still, that's, again, wow, y'all. Just wow. If this generation isn't the future, isn't the solution, y'all, we're screwed. We're absolutely screwed. We're just downhill from here, everybody. Put on your seatbelts. Yeah, get your puke bags. There will be turbulence. These violent lone wolf extremists, their narratives can be minimized. It minimizes the role of the online extremist ecosystem or ideological communities. It personalizes the violence to a single unstable individual instead of looking at the broader networks that the nature of these ideologies are being born from. And that is these internet subculture ecosystem extremist groups. And I know it sounds dramatic and extreme, but the fact is they exist. I mean, how many of these guys are truly going to write out a manifesto? How many people write anymore? Okay, genuinely, how many? None of them. They're typing it out. So to me, it just feels really packaged. If you like everything with a bow, boom. They wrote things on their things. On the boomsticks, there was meme words that make memes, make people think. Deep thought for a second, and then over. Deep thought gone, and then it happens again. If this is a simulation, it must be broken. And if we're playing a game, we failed. This is the bad route. We should not go this way. Manifesto prepackaged with a bow and meaning. They luckily, conveniently had a manifesto connected. And it says exactly everything they need to say. It ritualized the documentation purposefully created to be shared and consumed via journals, live streams, messages, TikToks, Facebook Lives. Like, curious indeed. But Daisy, what do the stats say? We may see a decline in crime or arrest of our use, if you will, in the last decade, but the sources indicate an increase in a specific violent and endgaming crimes using the weapon. Although the homicide rate among these 12 to 17-year-olds has increased, especially over the last 5-year period. Y'all, you best believe that grandma did not expect her grandchild to risk it all for a freaking Oculus, but they did. And these acts, especially in the mind of an underdeveloped brain, it is seen as a martyr. It's seen as a cause for the chaos. And again, that is a form of spiritual change deemed as growth by these people, by these subsects, by these... it's so terrible to call it mentally ill because it's unfair to those who genuinely struggle with mental health. Like, it is something so much different than that. It's something deeper. It's clearly spiritual. And to just say they're a sick individual, just mentally incapacitated. Like, no, they must be possessed, or there's something more. There has to be some type of deeper sickness. It can't just be like, that's mental health. No, we see people surviving life all the time with some bad mental health, and they don't do these things. So what's going on? Another current example is things with Roblox and how they enabled creeps to thrive. Even the Idaho 4 comes off as creepy and somewhat ritualistic in nature. Whether anyone was the main target, whether they had some type of reputation still unheard or unseen to most, maybe they were doing things that they wouldn't be proud of everyone knowing, you know? Maybe they embodied everything against what these people hate: a carefree, happy, beautiful, free spirit. And maybe it's time that we really start taking a closer look at how frats and sororities operate and the impact that hazing has on our youth. I mean, they do bully and purposely embarrass pledges. They push it. They push those limits. And that shouldn't be something excused or brushed aside when it's having real world consequences. And it's not just a subtle shake you up. Oh, wasn't that silly? No, some of these have ended the game for many. One thing that cannot be denied is how certain, internet culture does play a role in all of this here. Does that sound like a lone wolf to you? All these patterns that repeat, all these common things? Even if they acted alone, they are still often embedded in virtual communities. Many share cult or extremist features or views. Like, y'all, have you ever heard of the Great Replacement, y'all? Have you heard this? The belief that Muslims will one day replace white people, like in an apocalyptic prophecy. Have you heard of that? Or the fact that there are these charismatic, in their own right, charismatic martyrs. They do become symbolic leaders or cult-like saints. What have we seen over the last few years? Mass isolation and radicalization. Isn't that odd? How crazy. What? Who knew? Who knew that would cause a few eggs to go bad, if you will? So close that it almost felt like an authentic push towards civil unrest. But why would they want that? Why would the leaders want that amongst their people? I don't know. Ask France. So sorry over there. Love you all very much. I wish the world wasn't that way. I don't get it. I don't get it. These acts are not purely spontaneous if they are all nodes in one decentralized extremist network. It creates a paradox where the acts appear as a lone wolf, but they're still collectively a part of a bigger movement. We don't just hear it from the media, but the idea is reinforced through movies. Like, we need to talk about Kevin, who is framed as the isolated pathological figure, and them also referencing it again to bad seeds or unwell, mentally inept. The staging of these events, often ritualistic in nature, it's turning this violence into a performance, like The Joker or Folie à Deux, when two have a delusion. Other movies that we can look to see this is The Joker, Taxi Driver, Fight Club, and Elephant. For whatever reason, humanizing the villain has been a big trend with these exact movies. Joker, Loki, Maleficent, Cruella. Why? Even Wicked. Try to understand the misunderstood broken monster. It's a pattern, and it should be recognized. Here's the takeaway. The lone wolf rarely hunts alone. Even if one does act alone, it's steeped with online ecosystem of extremist subcultures. Knowing that helps us from dismissing this as one crazy person. Humanizing the villains creates sympathy for the devil. Understanding them does not mean excusing them. A spectacle fuels imitation. Every retelling makes them more of a legend. A feedback loop turning violence into a script for others to follow. Just food for thought. I hope you guys are well. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I'll see you again soon. Stay awake, stay aware, stay well. Take care of your loved ones, and especially thank you so much to my members. I'm so grateful for all of you. You're so amazing, and I'll talk to you soon.